people have been calling Fortnite a dead game since at least 2020, if not before then. These proclamations have always seemed silly to me. The complaints just didn't land, and I was still having fun playing Fortnite through all these times. It's okay if people stopped finding it interesting, but it always felt more like an issue with expectations or just getting bored with the game themselves than it did with Fortnite making poor choices. Even now, I don't think that Fortnite is a dead game. While it may not be as popular as it was at its peak, it's not likely going anywhere anytime soon. However, unlike previously, there are actually some complaints that I have with the game now, and I feel like the overall quality of Fortnite has been decreasing recently. Even though I do have my own complaints, there are still many complaints that are out there that I don't necessarily agree with. So before I get into my complaints, I want to give my background as a Fortnite player. I have played Fortnite since what is now known as Chapter 1 Season 3. I've never missed a chapter or season since then, typically finishing the battle pass, but not always finishing out every super level or whatever that equivalent might have been for that season. I'm definitely not an amazing player, but I don't think I'm terrible either. I'm just kind of average is probably where I stick myself. I don't tend to play a lot of ranked or anything like that. I just tend to play regular mode with my family. That means I always have a squad of 4 typically when I play, but if I do decide to play, other times I will just play a solo match of something and not really go with random people. So because of that, I've played a lot of Fortnite and have enjoyed the game quite a bit over the years. So with that said, let's get into my concerns about the game. One of the more vague concerns that I have about Fortnite is that it just seems to be lacking a sense of direction. Now, some like to wax poetically about the story of old Fortnite, but I'll be honest, the story never really seemed all that coherent or enjoyable, and I don't play online battle royales or PvP shooters for their story typically. However, I will admit that it did feel like the game had a flow that it was trying to follow. A theme that would be there for the season and play out, maybe connect to the next season, maybe not. It just kind of depended on the theme and how things went. A lot of times they didn't, which, never helped for the idea of a coherent story or feeling like things were connected all that much. But anyhow, this lack of direction was something that I really felt in Chapter 6, Season 4, as there were just many things that were removed from the chapter without a lot of explanation. Medallions were the first, but eventually all the bugs were completely removed from the island, creating a rather bland end to the season, which was only saved by Fortnitemares. I will also add that the mini-seasons don't really help this feeling. I think that they're too short and would be better served as full seasons, especially one like The Simpsons that brought a whole new map and everything. I also feel like the general direction of Fortnite to try to be a gaming hub instead of a solid battle royale with different modes is probably part of the problem here. While some modes like Festival have been fun, other modes like Rocket Racing have been far more disappointing. I don't really want Fortnite to be everything, because I feel like if you try to be everything, you don't wind up doing anything particularly well. In addition, the beginning of this season felt very frustrating. Fortnite seemed to have changed their matchmaking, and this made games feel super difficult and not a lot of fun. Now, I don't know whether they've tweaked this more as the season went on, or if I'm just more used to it, but it hasn't felt quite as bad recently. However, it still was really frustrating to play Fortnite for a little while because you just were getting murdered very quickly, which was a very different experience than what we had been having. I've also been rather disappointed with the store in a number of ways. First, just the fact that they now have the shop as the second option on the lobby menu just feels a little scummy in and of itself. Like they're trying even more to have you focus on what you don't have rather than on what you do have. I get that as a free-to-play online game, you rely on people spending money on your game to keep going, but I didn't really like this move, but I also admit that it is fairly easy to ignore. I've also not been a big fan of the direction that the store's been going in general. The addition of kicks and sidekicks both felt super overpriced. Sidekicks were particularly awful, I think, since they don't even allow you to customize your sidekick after your original selections. Why these were somehow special in all of Fortnite when you can customize so many things is strange and feels more like a predatory practice than any kind of reasonable decision. Beyond this, there is also the fact that the store has felt more of a mess in general. Sometimes skins are bundled with the other items in their collection, other times they are separate. It just feels messy and like they're trying to snag people buying things without any kind of discount. I wish they would just offer the bundle and the ability to buy separates for those skins instead of sometimes having the bundles and sometimes just having random parts in the shop. Also connected to this, I don't always pay a lot of attention to creative, but with creative maps now starting to be allowed to charge real money for things for creative games, like that just adds a whole new layer of problems to the store in Fortnite that I don't really like, and I think that that just kind of isn't going to be a good move for the long term. In addition to the store being a mess, the locker system hasn't even been working properly for quite some time. While I really enjoyed when we received an extra 100 loadout presets, the ability to randomize those presets hasn't worked since around that same time for me. To me, that's pretty unacceptable. Why would I want to buy more skins if I can't even use the systems in the locker that I want to? Throw in that the recently purchased sorting has been messed up too, often placing old items as the the most recent if you've placed them in a loadout. I understand that sometimes these kind of things take time to fix, and really the recently used bug I feel like is a little bit newer than the preset randomizing not working, and it doesn't seem like anything is really being done or said about the status of where they are on that. There has also been a decided turn for the worst when it comes to rewards this season as well. While I don't mind the other mode related rewards that are connected to the battle pass, where you have to play reload or blitz or battle royale to get some extra styles, because they feel more like extras than a direct part of the pass. The rewards I do not like are how they structured the ranked rewards for the season. To be honest, ranked rewards are often pretty disappointing in general, with only maybe a few things being worthwhile, but requiring people to get Unreal in order to unlock all rewards is just stupid. To have to do that for multiple different types of ranked modes is even more stupid, and I found it a particularly bad idea to have the car rewards connected to rocket racing again when that mode isn't even being actively supported any longer. To top this all off, the way that Epic handled Winterfest this year was awful. They changed a long-standing system of being able to stack gifts so that you didn't need to log in every day. Now, while I do understand the arguments that say doing this isn't that hard, there was still no need for the change in the first place. This wasn't well communicated, and for those who are more casual players, they likely wouldn't have had other means to know about it. Since Christmas is meant to be a time of giving and a busy time of year, this change made absolutely no sense and was a horrible decision by Epic. I don't really know what they were thinking here. And these are my main complaints with Fortnite at the moment. The game feels like it is lacking direction and is either getting desperate or greedy. Considering that Fortnite likely made $6 billion in 2025, I'm leaning more towards the greedy. I get that companies often get sucked into the idea that we always need more profit. The decisions that Epic are making make me less interested in spending money. Price things reasonably, make sure your systems actually function, and don't just randomly take tons of things out of your season without any explanation. I get the vaulting of certain weapons or items through a season, that's happened for quite some time, but that shouldn't be happening to season-specific weapons and items unless there is some kind of bug or glitch involved. For the first time, I found myself more and more disappointed with Fortnite in the last year or so. I do still have fun playing it, but I just can't find myself enjoying some of the decisions that Epic has been making. I know that there are other complaints that people have had, but I don't really hate the new UI. Like, is it maybe the greatest thing ever? No, but I also don't hate it like some people seem to. I also don't think that collabs are the huge issue behind Fortnite's problems, except maybe with the mini seasons that I commented on earlier, just kind of adding to the feeling that Fortnite doesn't really have a good flow or direction currently. I mean, collaborations are clearly a hit with a lot of people, including myself, and I think that success should lead Epic to not need to resort to scummy and desperate tactics that they seem to be using with their store lately. Like, the fact that they still are shows to me not that the collabs are the problem, but it's the greed and the way that Epic is going about certain things that's the real problem. Now, this isn't me saying that Fortnite is a dead game, or a game that is even dead to me yet. This is more of a warning that even I, who haven't really had the issues with the game that many have over the years, am starting to notice that Epic's direction isn't great. Fortnite used to be the gold standard on how to do pricing, progression, and free-to-play gaming. I feel that they're no longer that and are moving to become just another greedy company trying to see how much they can wring out of people while adding changes like super grindy rewards that don't respect your time in the least. And for me, whenever companies start to disrespect the money that they want you to put into the game and also the time that they want you to put into the game, that's when I have big problems with the game. I hope that Epic can do better and learn from some of these missteps. Knowing that success can go to the head of companies like this, though, I'm not sure what will happen. I can hope for changes, but if it gets worse, then Fortnite may be a game that does get moved on from eventually. Only time will tell, I guess. And those are my thoughts about the state of Fortnite at the moment. What about you? Has Fortnite felt worse for you recently? Do you agree or disagree with my criticisms? Let me know in the comments and we can discuss this further. That's all for this video though, so I'll see you in the next one.